Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross for the official video game, where today we're going to be playing a custom replica version of the 2022 Arlington Supercross and racing a little bit of a triple crown against the AI in the game as well. But as we know, the AI is not that great on these custom tracks, so it's not going to be too close of a battle, or maybe it will be. Oh, look at them, they're already shoving me out of the way a little bit here. But I'll talk about this track a little bit, do three little quick main events on this track, and offer some thoughts, opinions, and insights on the real-life 2022 Arlington Supercross that happened over the weekend in real life, because there's a lot of talking points to bring up from the Triple Crown on the weekend. So first off, in building this track, as you guys know, you cannot build right-handed first corners in Supercross 4, and yes, I know that like you can kind of make it work sort of with turning like just slightly left into the first corner and then continuing from there, but then you couldn't do a good over-under bridge that rejoins with the track right there. And then I thought about mirroring the track and going the other way, but then I just realized that I could kind of make the first turn go into the finish line complex, and it honestly just seemed like a better overall package to do it that way. So after the whoops right here, it kind of rejoins with the first turn complex, goes over the finish line jump, and then the rest of the track is the exact same as what we saw over the weekend. So apologies in advance, the track isn't 100% accurate or anything like that, but just tried to make it as close as I possibly could with the in-game editor that we have, and I feel like it's a pretty good rendition of it. If you guys want to try it, it's called 2022 Arlington on the PC. Like I said, you can always search my name, Kellen, on Steam if you guys are trying to find it. I haven't built it on PS4, Xbox One yet, and might not, so apologies to you console players, but if you're on the PC and want to try it out, that's what it's called. And you can let me know what your lap time is, as No Touchy to Hutchy usually tells me what his lap time is in the comment section below and tries to challenge mine. I think I've done like a 101 something already on this track, so we'll try to beat that. And yeah, we're just going to do a little Triple Crown race here, talk about the race. So over the weekend, Triple Crown at Arlington, and these Triple Crown races, I will say, I feel like we're in like a good sweet spot with Triple Crown races. Generally speaking, it seems like fans are all about them, love them, want more of them. I'm kind of the opinion that I'm good with 3, and that's like enough for me. I'm still, generally speaking, a fan of like having the one big main event that everything builds up to, and that's like the race that you hang your hat on, because I don't know, like you look at the Jett Lawrence situation, right? Like if he just gets 4th in that first main event, which he was going to get better than 4th in a 15-minute main event, but let's say he gets 4th in that main event, then suddenly that's just like, that's what he does on the night, right? Like he doesn't get a chance to make it up, and he probably would have won the overall if he just wins those last 2 races, right? But he, kind of blew it in the last one. And, I just don't necessarily love that you get so many like second chances to recoup that. And if you add more Triple Crown races to the series as a whole, like you go to 5 or 7 or whatever, there's less of a chance that in the event of a championship breakaway, like let's say right now Tomac was 20 points in the lead instead of 6 over Anderson, it's less likely he's going to have bad races. Like it's more likely he gets hurt at a Triple Crown because there's more starts and everybody more bunched together at the beginning like that, but there's less of a chance that he ends up just having a bad night and getting like a 6th, because there's ample opportunity to get 6th in the first main event and then come back like Anderson did pretty much and goes 6-1-1 for 2nd, he was able to make amends on the mistake that he had with Malcolm Stewart and still get good points on the night. So I like the Triple Crown format. I like that we have a couple of them on the year, but I'm actually, I guess, like a little bit against the fan receptive opinion of it that like I'm good with the 3. I don't need more. Happy to have the standard races most of the year, and I think that's where it should stay. But happy to hear more opinions on that. Maybe you guys have a different opinion or different thoughts on it, and as always, get involved in the comment section below and discuss. But yeah, Triple Crown, crazy night of racing. It seemed like every new race had something dramatic happen, some new crash, or someone coming from the back or whatever. And if we're talking about the 450 class, I mean, Eli Tomac just pretty much rode consistent. Like the first main event, obviously he goes down early and then fights his way all the way back up to get 4th in that one, and got a little bit fortunate. Like he was going to get beaten by Stewart and Anderson, but they obviously got together, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But Tomac just on the night really consistent, smooth, didn't really look like he was, I think riding as much like as hard as he could, or as much as he really needed to. Like he was backing it down to a certain level that was a comfortable riding pace for him, and just kind of rode with that the entire night. So to me, that's kind of like a weird measured approach from Tomac that we don't always see. Like sometimes he just doesn't have it, and sometimes he's ridiculously fast. But to see like he does have it, but he also just kind of chilled down and let things come to him. It's like kind of the new version of Tomac on this Star Racing Yamaha this year, where he just looks like he's kind of in control at all points, even though he's gotten like taken down by his teammate and he's had a couple of these weird crashes to start the races and stuff like that. It's getting tougher and tougher to bet against him, because it's arguably like the most relaxed version of Eli Tomac I've ever seen. And that's obviously dangerous for the rest of the field, because it seems like there's more in the tank. There seems like there's more that he can do if he needs to. But at this point in the championship, we're not even halfway. He still has the points lead, and Anderson's been good, but arguably Tomac's been just as good. And here we are with Tomac in the points lead. So for Tomac to win again, his third win of the season, ties Anderson for most wins on the season. Like it just seems like we're at the point where it's these two guys all the way through, and Tomac is proving that his racecraft and kind of mental ability is on another level this year a little bit. So yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous to see Tomac go 3-2-2 or 4-2-2, I think it was, and win a Triple Crown. 4-1-2, something like that. It was some weird math. Anyway, yeah, on the night, just a pretty solid night for Tomac. Let's talk about the Mookie versus Anderson situation, because I feel like that's what a lot of people want to hear about. And in my opinion, I didn't actually think that the contact or both of them going down was all that bad. Like it was kind of one of those weird circumstances where Malcolm didn't know Jason was going to go there. Jason ran it in too deep anyway, and they collided, but it was a pretty slow crash, and it wasn't like Anderson blew him up or anything like that. There's this contact, and then the way that the contact continued, Malcolm's bike swung around, but Anderson just kind of tipped over. So I didn't really think it was like that bad of an attempt. Two lines coming together awkwardly in a sense. Now, I'm also of the opinion that Anderson's move was a dumb one. Like he should have thought about that a little bit better, or should have approached that situation better. And he's shouldering more of the blame, in my opinion, than Malcolm. But I also do think that Malcolm deserves some of it. Like you just can't leave the door wide open and then turn down in the corner and be like, what, someone came down the inside? Like that's ridiculous. It happens, you know, so. But I don't know, it's crazy. Like I just felt like people on Twitter were blowing that up as like, oh my gosh, Anderson just blew Malcolm off the track like freeze. He should be banned for a round. And it's like, what? I don't know. Sometimes Twitter is just really weird with how they react to things. Either way, obviously Malcolm was going to be upset. Jason knew Malcolm was going to be upset. And then Jason pretty much owned it in the post-race press conference. Like he was like, yeah, I landed off the jump on the gas and knew I was going too fast. And by that point, I was just trying to get stopped. And took him down, and like that's my bad. So, you know, just trying to move on from there, and that's, I think, good on Anderson, but I don't think Malcolm cares. And another thing with these two is they go way back. Like they have battled each other a lot over their careers, and they've taken each other out quite a bit as well. Like this is not the first time they've ran into each other this year. Even if you go back to Anaheim 1, Malcolm Stewart put Anderson on the ground in a heat race. You go back to last year at Dallas, so same track, same place. Anderson passes Malcolm early in one of the main events. I think it was Arlington. Was it Arlington 1 or Arlington 2? And 2 corners later, Malcolm, because of his frustrations with the way that Anderson passed him, tries to light him up in a corner and literally flies off the track. So these two have a history. It seems like that history is going to keep going. That would be the thing that makes me the most nervous for Anderson in this championship, is that not that he's not on par with Tomac, or not that he doesn't get good starts and runs up front all the time. It's that now he has a little bit more of a target on his back with Stewart specifically. And I think Stewart's going to probably pay him back at some point. Whether or not he owes him one, that's beside the point. I think Stewart will do it anyway. And that obviously hurts Anderson, because he's trying to maximize his points haul at each round, and he can't be taken out for like 4th place at a race and finish 8th. Like he needs to be on the box every weekend to challenge Tomac. So ill-advised, I would say, by Anderson. You could take second there, go 1-1 the other 2 races, and easily win the Triple Crown. But I guess in the heat of the moment, you know, he felt like he could make a pass there and probably rush the opportunity, and they both end up on the ground. So sucks for Malcolm, but I don't necessarily think that it was as bad as everybody was making it sound. And yeah, I think that you just have to take that sometimes for what it is. It's just, you know, a couple guys racing hard trying to get the win, and things happen. So that's my take on it, though. I'm sure people disagree, but it is what it is, like I said. So, yeah, Cooper Webb gets third. Good night for him. 144 for 9 points to get third overall. He's looking better. He's coming around, but I think it's a little bit too little too late. Championship's already pretty far away. So at this point, really just got to try to get a win. Still doesn't have a win yet this year. Going to be weird to see Cooper Webb not win a race this year, but hey, we're at the halfway point. I don't think he'll win Daytona. So I don't know. He's definitely got to get some stuff a little bit more figured out with the bike and himself, but he's been better. That's at least the littlest part that we can say about it. And the last thing I want to talk about in the 450 class is Kenny Roczen is just a shell of himself. Don't really know what's going on at this point. Was fastest in qualifying at one point, but it's just gone so bad in the main events. And I think he ended up 13th overall on the night in Arlington. Just not good, and it's so confusing. He clearly isn't comfortable with the bike. He isn't comfortable with himself. Things are just way, way off base. And now the hot rumor that I'm hearing lately is that Roczen is contemplating wrapping up his career in MXGP. So he might go back to Europe for another season and give it a try over there. Interestingly enough, as I'm trying to lap him right here. But gosh, that'd be so weird, right? Like, I just never expected Roczen to be that type of guy that would go back to Europe to finish his career. But according to Adam Wheeler and Lewis Phillips, that is the rumor that they're hearing over in the MXGP paddock. So wouldn't that be interesting if this is Roczen's last year in the U.S. and he retires after next year with another season of GPs? Be very, very strange in my opinion, but yeah, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, for this last main event, we'll talk about the 250 class. We can talk about Cameron McAdoo being solid as a rock and how strange that is, and congrats for him to get his second career main event victory. When you overall surmise it, he won the overall at the Triple Crown. But again, I think what most people want to hear is my thoughts on Jett Lawrence and Austin Forkner hitting in midair over the finish line jump. And I had tweeted earlier during the night that I thought Lawrence looked more in control and kind of, I guess, relaxed in his charge through the field than I've ever seen him before. Yes, he made a couple of really weird mistakes right at the start with a couple rear end slide outs, but coming through the field, I thought until he got to Forkner, everything looked great. Like, the racecraft was solid. He wasn't riding way out of control. He was pushing the envelope, but he wasn't like way out of control. And then he gets to Forkner, and everything that I tweeted about up to that point was just completely out the door. He got way out of shape in the whoops. I don't know how he saved it, and then comes through the corner, goes up the face of the finish line jump, far left of the track, clips the tough blocks, goes from far left to far right on the jump over the finish line jump, and just basically takes out Austin Forkner midair because they were side by side. They both go down. Lawrence pretty lucky not to get hurt in that crash, but I mean, dude, like, just completely out of control for like 10 seconds, and it cost Forkner a season at this point. Like, they said that they did x-rays on Forkner in the Alpine Stars medical unit after the race, and they came back negative, but usually these guys go get a second opinion from, a real physician's office somewhere or something like that. And what I've heard so far is that Forkner does have a broken collarbone, but that hasn't been fully confirmed just yet. Either way, I don't necessarily think that he'll be back for Daytona. If he is, it'll be kind of incredible. And another thing that's huge for him is that I think he actually ended up 7th overall after all that chaos, because he won the first main event, so he went like 1:16.20 for 7th overall. But anyway, yeah, that was, that entire situation was crazy. I was so gutted for Forkner because, everything that he's been through the last couple of years has really sucked. Like, he's been just through the ringer with injuries. He's a very talented rider and should be a guy that gets on a factory 450 bike. But at this point, I don't know that teams are going to be willing to take that risk. And he said this would be his last year. But if he doesn't come back for Supercross, he hasn't pointed out, so he could still come back another year. But he's saying it's his last year. I don't know. It's a really weird circumstance at this point. But it sucks. That was Jett's fault. Even if you say it was an accident to hit the tough blocks, it still was his fault. Like, he hit the tough blocks. He clipped them somehow, some way or another, getting too close to him. And, it just completely destroyed Austin Forkner over that jump. And like I said, Jett lucky not to get hurt, but after the race, he was completely gutted, super emotional on the podium, super emotional in the post-race press conference. said he just felt sick for that whole situation, the way it turned out, and apologized to Austin and Austin's family and his wife or girlfriend or whatever they are at this point. Yeah, I mean, Jett felt terrible, so people have Jett on a stake today, I feel like, for cross-jumping him and all that, but, I mean, the dude didn't mean to do it. He felt terrible. Yes, he was out of control. He should have maybe reined it in a little bit, but, again, kind of with the Malcolm Anderson situation, it wasn't like Jason went in there trying to kill Malcolm, and it wasn't like Jett came out of that corner trying to kill Austin. It kind of happens that way sometimes, like close proximity racing, everybody bar banging. Sometimes you ride a little bit over your head. Sometimes you make just slight misjudgments. Too deep into a corner for Anderson, too far left on the finish line jump for Lawrence, and bam, a couple situations that really shouldn't have happened, couldn't have happened, but they had to happen, and that's very unfortunate the way it all shook down. So yeah, bump for Forkner, but Jett still got third overall. Crazy scores. He went 4-1-10, I think it was, for third overall. J-Mark goes 9-2-3 for second overall, like just all over the board. Yeah, Triple Crowns, man, catch the fever. These races are absolutely insane. That was maybe the most insane Triple Crown race we've ever had, and like I said, it just seemed like every race there was more drama being provided. Like that third main event with Jett and Austin. The second main event wasn't too crazy, but you had a couple close calls in the 250 class. The first one, Jett had to come all the way from the back. Then the 450 class, the first main event, you have Malcolm and Anderson hitting each other. The second main event, you have kind of just, again, kind of like an easy race, I guess. The second main events were the most relaxing ones, but then the third one, you have Anderson and Tomac racing each other hard for the win, which was pretty cool to see. I thought they raced each other very fair. The racecraft out of both riders was really, really fun to watch. And yeah, in the end, Tomac wins, McAdoo wins, and we got a shared red plate in the 250 class and a 6-point advantage for Tomac heading into Daytona this weekend. Midpoint of the championship for the 450 guys, still early for the 250 guys, but Daytona always provides a little bit more fireworks, and it's going to be fun to see how it all shakes down. So that's going to be my synopsis of the 2022 Arlington Supercross. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my discussion, and anything that you guys want to add in the comment section below, please be sure to get down there and continue the discussion. Happy to always chat with you guys. But as always, thanks for tuning in and watching another video here on Start Your Systems. Hope to see you guys in the next one, and I'll see you guys later. So long for now.